Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're talking about the Makita XGT. That's right, the 40 volt max impact driver. This one right here is GDT01, runs on their XGT platform, and it's got a lot of modes. So we're gonna go over this tool top to bottom, see how it stacks up against other tools in the market. Stick with us. Alright you guys, so this right here is the Makita XGT GDT01. It's their impact driver that's sometimes kitted with their heavy duty GPH01 hammer drill driver, right? So I kind of got it as a kit, but you can buy it separately and stuff like that. Now's a good time to tell you, this video is not sponsored. Nobody sent this to us. We got this as a kit, or part of the kit when we bought the kit with our own monies, okay? So just keep that in mind. So the XGT lineup from Makita is fairly new, right? It kind of runs on their 40 volt max platform. It's kind of more of a build on their 18 volt X2 type thing, but it does have other improvements, right? Because they don't really have a 36 volt impact driver. The only other 36 volt impact driver I currently know of right now is the Makita HPT, the triple hammer one, the multi-volt one, but this one is really in the 36 volt class. So before we get too heavy into it, we're going to drill into all the modes and stuff later. Let's go over the marketing hype, and then we'll bring you in closer and take a better look at it. So this right here is the Makita XGT 40 volt max cordless 4-speed impact driver. It breaks new ground for the most demanding driving applications in wood, masonry, and metal. It is powered by the Makita brushless motor that delivers up to 1950 inch-pounds of torque, outpowering other impact drivers in heavy load applications. Well, we're definitely going to figure out how true that stuff is. It is ultra smooth variable speed trigger, providing optimal control, and one-touch 4-speed power selector button under the chuck allows to adjust the speed easily. Well, that's a lot to say. The thing to really take away from there is the variable speed trigger, and that one actually works nice, and it does have a quick change button. We'll go talk about that. Users will get up to 50% faster speeds with 4-speed settings, okay? We're not going to go over all of them. Just know that it goes up to 3,700 RPM and up to 4,400 IPM, using the Makita batteries. It offers 9 modes of wide variety of applications, including 2 tightening modes, 1 assist mode, 3 forward and reverse auto stop modes. The 2 tightening modes will provide faster tightening self-drilling screws in thin or thick gauge metal, which helps prevent, screw or cam out in the workpiece. There is an assist mode, which helps eliminate the feature screw, cam out, and cross-threading by driving at low applications until tightening begins. Wow, the technical writers they hired on that thing was, they had their hands full there. 3 forward and 3 reverse auto stop modes provide increased efficiency. There's actually a lot of good use cases for that. I just don't have too much of them. Anyways, moving on. You can, outpower with Makita's OUTPOWER technology, OUTSMART with the digitally controlled motor and all the tightening modes. And it has Makita's OUTLAST XPT technology, which is increased to provide dust and water resistance to harsh job site conditions. Okay, pretty standard stuff on here. You can buy it as just a tool only, or you can buy it as a part of the kit. If you buy it as a part of the kit, or regardless of how you buy it, the tool has a 3-year limited warranty on the tool itself. All right, we're gonna go over a lot of this stuff really fast because most of the time we're gonna need to spend on this because there's a lot of modes to go through on here. Okay, so obviously if you're holding this drill, it's impact driver is pretty much standard as you would expect from a Makita tool. All this black stuff is rubber overmold, and all this teal stuff is generally Makita stuff. This belt clip is reversible, so you can put it on the back on the other side if you did want to. It does come with one, and it has a fall rest system just in case you need to tie it to some kind of fall rest type device like a harness or something, just in case you are working up at high whatever grounds for whatever reason you need to. It does have a forward and reverse switch, pretty standard right here. The back side of it is flat, as you would expect. It'll say brushless right here, and on the back side it will also say brushless. Okay, on this side it doesn't say brushless, but all this black stuff right here, like I said, is rubber overmold, and it lays pretty nicely here. Obviously if you lay it on the side with the belt clip, it won't lay as nicely, right, because the belt clip, but it's got that stuff going on here. Other quick stuff going on here, let's talk about this. This has 2 LED lights. Right now I usually run mine in off mode, mainly because You know, if I'm using this, I'm probably most likely going to be outside or something like that, but I just don't need that. And also for the camera, you know, just shining in there turns it off. But it's got two LED lights right here. You can turn them on or off by long pressing on this button right here. As you can see, two lights come on and then it will stay on for, you know, a couple seconds after you use the tool, okay? For the purpose and sake of this video and filming, I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing off because, you know, we want the lighting to not really mess with that. This is a quick insert collet, which means you can just insert a bit pretty quickly. It doesn't quick eject as you would expect, but, you know, it does take a little bit of force, just pop it right in, no problem. So all that stuff is pretty standard. This plastic part here, you probably see some of this plastic part on like the Makita impact wrench and stuff like that, but other than that, nothing too much going on there. Pretty standard stuff as you would expect on the bottom of the tool. You know, it's got the Makita gel parts right here to say, you know, oh, this is, you know, help dampening some of that vibrations. This plastic part is, you know, hard plastic. It's not rubberized by any means. These two are the two gel inserts going on here. All right, as we mentioned in this in the marketing hype, this thing says it has 9 modes, okay? So let's go over this. Hopefully this will get a good shot on camera right here. I'm hoping it comes out pretty well. Sorry, one-man show, so we'll have to see how this stuff goes. So on the bottom here, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 standard impact modes. Makita calls them impact force, right? So if you have it on, let's say 1, right? It's actually, let's start from 4. Because it'll start from 4. 4 is what they call max impact mode. Maximum impact blows 4,400 per a minute. That's maximum impact blows. It pretty much gives you, it's standard. It's like high on a standard impact driver. There's not a lot of ramp up and down. It's just straight up. You got full force all the time, whatever you need it to do, okay? You can also press it again, and it will get you down to mode 3, which they call hard, right? And that gives you 3,600 impacts per minute. And, you know, not too bad. You can also go to what they call, or number 2, which is what they call medium, which is 2,600 impacts per minute. And you can also go to soft, or number 1, which is 1,100 impacts per a minute, okay? So what that really means here is this is low, let's just say high, medium low, low. And those modes you can cycle through with this quick change button right here, which we didn't go over earlier, mainly for this reason, so I can show you right here. There's a button right above where the trigger is, where you can press this, and you can see here, it will cycle through here the 4 impact modes. So as far as I know, this button will only allow you to cycle through the standard impact modes, not necessarily the preset modes. I'm sure some of that stuff will probably be adjustable somehow, but we can get into that later, okay? So as you can see on here, there's a bunch of motions and icons and LEDs here, so we'll go over some of this other stuff, right? So right now it's in, you know, mode 3, but if I go into auto mode, right, this LED lit up here next to the A, and this number 1, the LED lit up next to the 1. If those two are enabled, this is what Makita calls wood mode, and that delivers up to 4,400 RPM or impacts per minute. They say that this mode is designed to prevent screw from falling out in the beginning, and the tool holds the screw at a slow speed rotation until it starts to impact, and then the impact force generally increases as it reaches its maximum speed. So this pretty much means the most use cases for this is you're going to be impacting or putting something into wood, and you want to ramp it up. So if you use full force trigger, it will just start off slow and ramp it up as it senses that resistance. So if you aren't very kind, or let's say your variable speed trigger skills aren't that great, that may be something you want to look into, okay? There's a couple times I would use something like this. It's mainly because if I'm up somewhere and then doing something and I can't really see what it is that I'm doing, I'll pretty much just go like that. But otherwise, I'm almost never using these other modes. Only modes I really use between is the standard impact modes, okay? Let's move on to mode number 2, right? So this auto button is lit up and the number 2 LED is lit up. This is what they call tightening mode 1. The tool will stop rotating as soon as it starts impact. So this is generally what you would use for, like, you know, self-drilling screws into like, you know, very thin sheet metal or something like that. The mode is designed to, to help prevent the screw from over tightening and, just stripping out the material that you're really getting into. So they will say the timing to stop will vary depending on the type of screw and the material being driven. Okay, that's a little disclaimer they have on here. You press it again, it will go into what they call tightening mode 2. This one will give you 2,600 impacts per minute. And this mode is just the same mode as the other one, except it just gives you a few more impacts, right? The idea here is, if you're putting like, something into, let's say, thicker sheet metal or like a little bit piece of thicker aluminum, as soon as you release the trigger, the tightening mode will generally stop. It's designed to, help you do a lot of that self-drilling stuff into a thicker metal so you can get a good finish without stripping too much of that stuff out, okay? So now let's go into bolt mode. So if you click on this, that will get you into bolt mode. And this is bolt mode 1, okay? So bolt mode 1, you can either use this in forward or reverse mode. The tool will stop automatically as soon as the impacting has started, okay? The general idea, or if you're going clockwise, that is. If you're going counterclockwise, the tool will stop automatically as soon as it stops impacting. And the impact force it uses on this mode is 2. So, it gets really confusing because you're on 1, but generally the main thing to take away here is if you're putting something in like a bolt or a nut that's on a bolt, if you want to, reverse take it out, you just go full speed on it and it will remove it and then it will stop. Therefore, you don't just have the bolt or nut flying off, right? That's generally designed for what that is. They have another mode here called bolt mode 2, which is pretty much the same thing, but the tool will stop automatically approximately 0.3 seconds after the impact starts, right? So if you're putting it in or tightening a nut or a bolt, it will tighten for 0.3 seconds before it stops, so you don't over tighten. And if you're taking it out, the impact force is 4, which means this is pretty much full blown impact force, and it will stop as soon as the impacting has stopped, okay? And then what they have is called a bolt mode 3, which is, the bolt mode being highlighted with the number 3 being lit in there. The tool will automatically stop approximately 1 second from the moment the tool has started impacting blows. That's in tightening mode. If you're on reverse mode, the tool will stop, as soon as the impacting stops. So that's what's really going on there. I know that's a little bit confusing, so let's go ahead and walk through this. I'll try to simplify this for you, okay? There's really 3 layers of modes on here, right? So as you see right here, we'll go here and I press this button and it'll automatically go to the standard impact modes there. So let me go here. The first layer, if you look at it here, just think of it as your standard impact driver mode. You got, 1 to 4. Most impact drivers have 3, but let's say 1 to 4, low, medium, or low, medium, low, medium, high, and then high. Pretty standard, nothing going on with this variable speed trigger. The response is exactly what you put into it, okay? Then they have, let's call it layer 2, which is, let me get out of here. Layer 2, which is their automatic mode. So this one, automatic ramp up mode or ramp down mode, depending on what it is that you're doing. And then if you press it again, it'll go into self-tapping mode, right? And then there's another higher self-tapping mode, high self-tapping mode, let's say. And then it goes into the third layer, which is the bolt mode. So this bolt icon being lit up here with the number 4 means that you're in that third layer. And then you get, low bolt mode, medium bolt mode, and high bolt mode. That's the easiest way to think of it. I know it's going to get really confusing and you may or may not remember any of this because we're just flying by some of the stuff really quick, but the essential way to think of it is there's 3 layers of modes or settings that you can go through, and each setting kind of has like a low, medium, high type setting. That's the easiest way to look at it. Like I said, I don't really use all those other modes too much, but every once in a while it may become useful. But other than that, that's what's really going on here. I didn't really show you the variable speed trigger response, but it is really nice. Let's set it off to mode, let's go to mode 4, right? The variable speed trigger, as you would expect from Makita, is pretty good. I'll try to show you here. This is mode 4. It's really smooth. I don't know if you heard that or sensed the response from that, but it's pretty smooth. So let's go to mode 3. Mode 2. mode 1. And of course, you can cycle through all those modes by just pressing the button right here. You can disable this button by holding this button and I believe this A button, but I don't really see any reason for that unless you're just moving really fast and you're just always automatically hitting this button here on accident. But that's what's really going on with this tool. So without too much further ado, let's get into some of the testing and see how it performs with the other tools on the market. All right, I hope y'all caught those numbers because those numbers went by really fast. So let's go ahead and take a look and recap on all numbers. We'll go over all numbers, then we'll go over to the leaderboard and see how it stacks up, right? So just go ahead and say we ran impact driver through all the tests on mode 4, the highest setting that's configured from the factory that we can use, and we took, I believe it was like an entire day difference between the first test or the first battery and the second battery. That way, you know, they all start cool or whatnot. So we'll go ahead and go through it. So this Makita XGT GDT01 with a 2.5 amp hour battery on the 8-inch timber lock test. First run 4.47, second run 4.40, third run 4.00. Average comes out to 4.29 seconds. Moving on to the medium duty test, 5/16 by 6 inch. First run 4.6, second run 4.88, third run 4.73. The average of the three comes out to 4.74 seconds, okay? Moving on to the half-inch lag test. First run 22.42, second run 18.67, third run 15.38. The average comes out to 18.82 seconds, all right? Let's move on to the 4 amp hour battery before we get into the leaderboard, right? So this XGT GDT01 with a 4 amp hour battery right here. First run on the 8-inch timber lock test, 4.43. Second run, 4.08. Third run, 4.27. The average comes out to 4.26. Medium duty 5/16 by 6-inch lock test. First run, 4.53. Second run, 3.10. Third run, 4.47. Average comes out to 4.03 seconds. Just a hair faster than the one with the 2.5 amp hour battery. Moving on to the 1/2-inch by 8-inch lag test. First run, 18.8. Second run, 17.33. Third run, 17.97. Average comes out to 18.03 seconds. Just a hair faster than with the 2.5 amp hour battery, right? So let's go ahead and talk about where does they really line up on the total performance leaderboard, right? So the GDT01 with a 2.5 amp hour battery had a total performance score of 27.85. How do we get that? We take the sum of all the three averages, and that puts that one right in 5th place, right behind the DeWalt DCF887 with a 9 amp hour flexible battery, okay? Which means 9 amp hour battery in 20 volt max mode. So that means that one had, the DeWalt DCF887 had a 26.98 score, and this one had a 27.85 score, okay? So just a hair faster than, the DeWalt was just a hair faster. But the Makita with this battery was just a hair faster than DCF850, which had a 27.95. It's all within the margin, let's go ahead and say, right? So then we ran the XGT GDT01 with the 4 amp hour battery, and that total performance score came out to 26.33. Bam! That puts that one in 4th place, right behind the Milwaukee 2853, which is the Gen 3 fuel impact driver. It's behind all of those, including, you know, what batteries and stuff that they use. So the 2853 with the 80 XC5 and the 30 high output, all that stuff was all faster than this one with the 4 amp hour battery, because let's say the next runner up, or the 3rd leaderboard, is going to be 2853, which is the Gen 3 fuel with the 3 amp hour high output battery, which had 26.06, whereas this one had 26.33, okay? So yes, using the 4 amp hour battery will give you a little bit more performance than with the 2.5 amp hour battery. Almost everyone knows this already, so you know it's no news to that. So let's go ahead and close the video since we're getting pretty long. What can we say about this tool? I mean, it's a great tool, right? The reason they made this tool, I believe, is not necessarily to one up their current 18 volt impact drivers. It's mainly because if you launch a new lineup of power tools, you really need a impact driver in that power tool lineup, right? So they launched the XGT platform, and then you can't really have a tool platform without an impact driver. So that's kind of why this one was created. Is it a little bit better than their 18 volt counterpart? Yes, a little bit, right? But they don't go out and try to figure out, okay, how can we make the most powerful fastest impact driver or any of that, right? So it kind of exists because of its necessity to be there. I don't believe that Makita is like a marketing company. There's other tool companies out there, I feel like they're really good at marketing. They spend a bunch of effort, time, and trying to figure out, you know, how to market their stuff and, you know, get the best specs and all that kind of fun stuff. Makita, generally, I feel like they focus on, you know, making sure the tool can do the job and do the job well with good, you know, user input and feedback and stuff like that. So it is not the fastest tool or impact driver on the market, but I do believe it's really nice. I do use it quite a bit, mainly because its variable speed trigger is very nice, right? I mean, just look at that, right? I mean, not too many tools have variable speed impact drive or variable speed triggers that are that nice on impact drivers, right? So personally, I would say, you know, should you go out and buy this tool? If you really need an impact driver and you're looking at getting the XGT lineup, then sure, go out and buy the tool. But if you're not really caring about getting into the XGT lineup, or if you don't really have any use for any of these modes, right? I could see some people, you know, working maybe auto shops having use for some of those modes, but I think they would have an impact wrench instead, you know, getting out there and buying this, right? So for me, I wouldn't go out and say, go out and buy this tool, right? I kind of have it because it's part of the kit that we got with the XGT tool set that we bought, but it is a good tool, okay? So other thing to point out here is, sure, we're talking about the best impact driver and we're only talking about performance, but like I mentioned before, the best tool for you is really going to be whatever tool you like, you enjoy doing, and that gets the job done for you, and you know, keeping you happy, and you know, extending the tool being an extension of you getting the job done, right? So the fastest tool is not always the best tool, but it will almost always be the fastest tool, right? So all that stuff keeps in mind. You know, sometimes the fastest working people are not necessarily the best working people, right? So just keep that stuff in mind when you go out and buy tools and stuff. I'm just here to put out the numbers to figure out, you know, so you can figure out, you know, where certain tools line up in the stack ranking of tools, I guess, if you want to say. But I'm just here to inform you. So like I said, I hope this video helped you guys out. Do I like the tool? Yes. Do you like the tool? I don't really know. You're going to figure that out and figure out, you know, which one works for you, like I said. So other than that, hope this video has been informational. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.